The number one show I know that we all agree on is Break the Bank with Lerk and Deion.
Welcome back to another Break the Bank podcast. This is your boy Lerk with the homie Deion. Nigga X is on vacation, chilling in Europe, watching his team take their 2.5 watching his team
real quick for the people. Real quick.
Well, no, because he left early, right?
Real quick. X an Arsenal fan, as everyone knows. Why my son left the Arsenal game in the 80th minute, but he was double cheeked up at the Tottenham game for the full 90.
And not only that, the Arsenal fan went to the Arsenal game versus Man City and was rocking the Man City scarf.
In the city scarf.
He had the city scarf. He's a traitor.
Yeah, I can't take him seriously now. I just want that on record.
And left early, though. Left early because they was getting shellacked. No, they was getting mollywopped, his favorite term. They was getting mollywopped. And what's crazy is because the day before, I told one of my patients who's an Arsenal fan, I said, yo, it's nothing personal, but I want Arsenal to lose. Like, I got a couple friends that's Arsenal fans, and I need them to lose like 5-2, especially because my boy's an Arsenal fan and he gonna be there. To get smoked 4-1 and just get that bullshit ass goal at the end, but like to get smoked 4-1, bro. Crazy. And then he left early, had the ops colors on though. Like he was set tripping. Oh man, in the ops color too.
He didn't even stay long enough to see the goal. He's never seen his team score in person.
Yo, that's crazy. Man flew 27 hours halfway across the world. 18 connecting flights. Just to watch his team get smoked and leave early.
Left early. That's the coldest part, is he left early.
But on a more positive note, all the shit I had to hear from Yatu, the media, everybody on Twitter, yeah, you was part of it.
But
don't make me go in the archives. I got a copy of every episode we ever recorded.
I don't think, what, did I say the Cavs would beat the Knicks? I don't think
No, I'm not even, I'm going past that first. We got to go back to the beginning of the story. When everybody was talking about how if the Knicks don't pull off the trade for Spider, it's a failure.
Oh, no, yeah, that's definitely...
And when the Cavs traded for him and all her was, the Knicks are going to regret this. The Knicks are stupid. They should have just gave up RJ, Grimes, and whatever, and 27,000 first-round picks for him. What happened? Your man didn't show up when it mattered most. He only had one decent game and one good game the whole series. Bummed it the whole time. And got packed up in 5 at home against the team that everybody said he was supposed to go to. And he was supposed to be here. And I was a little disappointed he wasn't here. But I also felt like that was too much that they was asking for. And I also said, no matter what, I'm not putting RJ in that trading. Y'all told me I was crazy. And RJ almost made me regret that for most of the season. But we talking about now. My son smoked them in 5. And I'm tired of everybody. It's only been 24 hours and everybody has the whole series, and especially after last night, just keep talking about where the Cavs fall short at or how much the Cavs bummed it. Give the fucking Knicks credit. They came up, they had a good game plan. They executed their game plan. They cooked them boys. Thibs made the adjustments. And we clearly didn't need bum-ass Randall. I know we had S on here. He said Cavs in 7. I don't even think X felt like Knicks would make it to 7. I'm not even sure what you said. I can't remember, to be honest.
I would venture to guess that I took the Knicks.
I know in the group chat, and I don't think you took the Knicks, because in the group chat, we won game 1, and I started talking shit. And I said, yeah, everybody talking about Cavs in 7. I told you it's not going 7. You said, yeah, you right. Cavs in 6. And I said, nah, it's either Knicks
that was just me bothering you.
And the funny shit, I said Knicks in 6 or Cavs in 5.
I mean, what I do know is, you can go check the archives. I never thought the Knicks should trade for Donovan. I'm not a Donovan Mitchell guy. I think he stinks.
Nah, you said that, especially.
I would have traded the picks, not RJ though.
Especially after the Brunson trade. I mean, sign. You said now the Knicks have to get Mitchell.
but not for RJ. I never wanted them to move RJ. Listen, if you could have got Mitchell for a million picks, like yeah, why not?
Yeah, but it wasn't even just that though. They wanted Grimes, they wanted
No, I know.
RJ,
Yeah, no, I know.
and I forgot what else they wanted. I think they wanted quickly too. And they was
Yeah, they wanted
okay, and
quickly.
they was okay with giving up everything except RJ and Grimes.
I would have been. My limit would have been Grimes and the picks. I wouldn't have moved quickly or RJ, but I would have been okay moving Grimes, to be honest.
I would have been okay moving quick. Only because in that scenario, it's hard to see where Quick is playing 25 minutes a game.
I guess. I don't know. I don't. I personally like. I would have been thinking about the move after the move, and I think quickly his trade value is higher than Grimes and was at the time too. So it's like
I don't think it is anymore though, because Grimes showed out this year.
yeah. So did Quick though.
You right, but yeah, you're right. I'm not even gonna try to take. I'm not even gonna try to sound
But like
anything.
for me, like Barrett, like the reason I wouldn't have moved Barrett in the Mitchell deal is it's like okay, now we have Brunson Mitchell. What can we get for Barrett?
Matter of fact, you're right. You
quickly?
did say don't trade Barrett because you was with me. You was with me in agreement. It's like if you trade Barrett, then what else do you have on the court?
Well, yeah, and it's not even like I wouldn't have traded Barrett. It's like you're gonna trade all your assets for this one guy when you have other moves to make, and that's essentially what the Cavs did.
We saw that story in the past with the Knicks with Melo, who was a much better player than Mitchell is right now.
Well, you saw it like maybe not more importantly, but you saw it with the Cavs. Like that was the Cavs' problem is they traded everything they had for Mitchell, and now they have a depleted roster, flawed roster at that.
Well, I can't even really. I just nodded in agreement, and then I thought about it. It's like Sexton was hurt his whole last year there. Lowry didn't do nothing with them. Like Lowry showed out this year, and he did okay with the Bulls, but he didn't do much with the Cavs. And he also had a history of being injured.
I think he averaged like, and I'm not saying this is crazy, but like Lowry, like they traded Sexton, who yes was hurt, but like you knew Sexton could get buckets. They traded Ochai Agbaji, who was a lotto pick. They traded Lowry, who I believe averaged like 15 points for them, and was also playing small forward in that lineup, which is crazy to think about. Like but the fact that he was able to do that is crazy to me.
Yeah, but you're right. Offensively, yes. But then as you saw in this series, having multiple 7-footers on the floor isn't ideal. Now Lowry, while Lowry can space, he ain't defending out there.
Listen, I'm not saying Lauri Markkanen was some phenomenal player for the Cavs. I'm just saying trading a lotto pick, Sexton, Markkanen, and all the picks they traded for Mitchell left them with a depleted, flawed roster. Specifically at the time the Utah Jazz decided to trade Mitchell. Now,
because they ain't got no depth whatsoever.
No, now if Mitchell became available in June, right, and the Utah Jazz told the Knicks like, "Yo, RJ in a single first."
Even if it was even if you wanted multiple first, I would have entertained it.
Just because of the timing.
But when you start adding all the other players and assets, that's when it's like, yo, bro, like you wildin', Danny. You wildin'.
Yeah. Well, specifically the time frame. Like I mean, personally, like I said, I don't like Donovan. But if the Knicks were gung ho on trading for Donovan, which they weren't clearly, but like the timing of it is what made it worse. Like if we're talking in June, I might have had a completely different opinion on it because it's like, well, they can move quickly, they can move Grimes, they can move Jericho Sims, whoever, to fill in the roster spots. They also have free agency to do that, right? Obviously, they got Brunson. But the idea of post-free agency, what he got moved in August? Like essentially maybe like a month before training camp, if that. Like
yeah. But I mean, the Knicks were in negotiations with them during free agency. They just didn't pull the trigger because they was wilding. And even with you feeling like you talking about how the Cavs gave up so much, right? And it was still less than what they was trying to get from the Knicks.
Yeah, and my thing, well, maybe less. It depends on how you look at it, but like And my thing is like it just left. It basically gave the Cavs like a leap year, so to speak, where it's like you don't really stand a chance this season because you traded everything for this one guy. But the problem is now you can only have so many supermax guys on your roster. I think if Evan Mobley is who people say he is, he'll make an All NBA in the next
So
2 years.
who do they move them? Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Garland just get
I
the
don't know if he didn't get a
does
super
that
max.
is
I
that
think
considered a supermax or the rookie extension, or is it just a max?
that I don't know. I believe it's just a designated rookie max, but maybe that does fall into the same category. I'm not sure. I know Donovan has one, and
Exactly.
if
That's what I'm
Mobley,
but wait, so then it has to count towards that because Donovan's is his extension from that's what he signed after his rookie contract.
but there's like different ones. Like Ja signed a super max, and it's technically a designated rookie max too. So like, there's a couple different ways you can go about it.
Isn't it all the same? It's just levels to it based off of the accomplishments.
Yeah. So if you make an All NBA, you get the super max. Now I don't know if like the designated rookie max falls under the same category based on the CBA, to be honest. But if you make All NBA, you get a super max, which I don't think Garland did. I can't imagine he did. He was an
With
All Star though, right?
who? Garland?
Garland, not
Yeah,
this
he
year,
was
the
an
previous
all-star
year.
this year. You know,
Oh, he was an All Star
he
this
got
year.
he got the sympathy shit because it was in Cleveland. No, last year because it was in Cleveland.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, because it was in Cleveland. And Allen too. That's why everybody can talk about, but Allen's an all-star. Bro, he was only an all-star as a replacement and because it was in Cleveland. And it's easier for a big man to make it to an all-star game or all NBA team when there's only a handful of big men that's actually good. Like guards and wings, there's a ton of them that are good, and there are a few that are great.
Yeah. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like, I mean, Allen is who he is, and like we knew that already. And like I don't necessarily feel like he played bad in this. Like, he was bad in the series, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like he just played like Jared Allen. And
Yeah.
like, if the Cavs are smart, you just run Mitchell Robinson off the court. Like, allowing, like, respectfully to Mitchell Robinson, allowing a player with his skill set to dominate a series like that isn't him dominating the series. It's just that you allowed it.
Yeah, yes and no. Cause one, I said it a couple years ago. Everybody was like, "Yo, you wallet." Like everybody, every time I big up his importance, like the way I get slandered is ridiculous. And it's like, yo, you don't watch the Knicks play or watch like to see what Mitch Rob does, like and how he affects the game. If he was healthy a couple years ago, they probably still lose to the Hawks because Randall didn't show up, but they put up a better fight.
No, listen,
Mitch
I'm
Rob,
not.
Mitch Rob is like 6'10, 6'11. Had two 7-footers on the court with him, getting 18 rebounds in the game,
Yeah.
blocking 4 shots, getting double doubles at halftime. Like,
See, but you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm not taking anything away from what you think of Mitchell Robinson or Mitchell Robinson, the player. I'm saying a guy with his skill set that just sits down low and rim runs in the playoffs. If you're gonna allow him to do what he's doing, that's because you're allowing it. You know what I mean?
you're
And you're
right, you're
content
right,
with that.
you're right, you're right. Because I was just telling somebody earlier that we gonna definitely need Randall to be a big body in the paint next round against the Heat because they got a couple shooters, but they drive. Like everybody's driving to the basket all game. They only got like two people that can actually shoot threes consistently with Hero out.
Yeah,
And
what's the deal with him? Is there any chance he plays?
I'm not even sure. I gotta look into that, but we don't play till Sunday. So right now I'm just hoping that there's a chance that Randall plays.
Well, Hero definitely won't play Sunday. Like, I was more so like his reevaluation day, whenever that would
I'm
be.
not sure. I gotta look into that.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
not sure.
was so the dude is like, yeah, but we got Mitchell Robinson. You saw what he just did. I said, yeah, but the difference is Bam is not gonna park his ass in the paint the whole game.
Yeah.
Like with the Cavs, what helped out tremendously was that neither one of your big men is helping you space the floor. So they were able to like grant. Now the Knicks team defense as a whole was tremendous, the way they were rotating and helping, but he didn't have to worry about stepping out on the perimeter or leaving the paint to guard his man. He's going to have to do that with Bam on the court. And without a big body like Julius, it's going to be harder to protect the paint because who else is going to be banging bodies with Bam and getting in Jimmy way every time he started putting his head down and running to the rim? Like, we play good team defense, but at the end of the day, no matter how physical we are, when you look at it, like, there's a bunch of little niggas and Mitch on the court right now.
Yeah, I just think
big body.
It might not happen against the Heat. Listen, it honestly might not happen. But when because like I mean the Knicks aren't some juggernaut, you know what I mean? Like they could lose a series just because they lost a series, right? But when I think like I try to view every series long term. Like, what did this team show that gets them to the end goal? You know what I mean? And ultimately, like I believe the Knicks can win without Mitchell Robinson, which is why I do feel like the whole notion that they can't like make a title run like it's kind of crazy with the way the East is looked. The only team in the East, like I'm like, damn, they look good is Philly. And Embiid has the sprained whatever. So like who knows? Yeah. So like who knows? But it's like, I mean, I definitely think they can beat Miami and like I mean, we saw their success against Boston in the regular season, which I know I don't really hold a ton of weight to, but you combine that with the way Boston's looked against Atlanta, and I think if you're New York, you're like, we're not afraid to play them. You know what I mean?
No,
but
go ahead, continue.
I was gonna say, but if you get to the West specifically, that Mitchell Robinson shit ain't gonna work no more.
No,
and no. I honestly, I don't even think it necessarily works against Boston. I do believe like Boston, I do think Boston just takes Robert Williams off the court and they just throw Horford in the corner.
The only two teams in the West that I think that Mitchell Robinson shit is gonna work against, I don't see making the finals, and that's Denver and Lakers.
I don't even think it works against Denver. I think, I mean, it works in theory, but Jokic would have him in foul trouble immediately.
That's also a possibility. But he's
for what it's worth,
also gotten better at not getting in foul trouble, but Jokic is different.
I was gonna say, for what it's worth, I feel that way about any big man guarding Jokic. Yeah. That was not necessarily like a
and he's the only one I see that could really like hang with him throughout the game without putting himself into foul trouble and getting off the court.
Yeah, agreed.
I said since day one, like once I seen that we locked in the 5th seed, I'm like, all right, we got the Cavs. That's easy money. As long as we're healthy, we could beat the Cavs in 6 games. We did it in 5. And we didn't even finish the series healthy. Quentin Grimes got hurt in game 2 or game 3. Julius got hurt in game 5. Jericho Sims ain't even play. He got the show, and he just got shoulder surgery today, so he's done.
Yeah.
So that's why like we saw with the regular season, Mitch Rob, whenever he gets injured, like the defense in comparison is dog shit. Mm-hmm. And now, without anybody to really back him up besides Isaiah Hartenstein, we really fucked. And that's not to take away from Hartenstein, but there's no depth in the front court right now as far as protecting the rim. But we beat the Cavs, and I said, look, once everything was locked in after the play, I'm like, all right, we either going to play the Heat or the Celtics. I'd rather play the Heat than the Heat or the Bucks. And I'd rather play the Heat than the Bucks.
Yeah, for sure.
Granted, the Bucks just got thrashed by the Heat, but we match up much better against the Heat, and we've had success against the Heat, and that's when RJ be playing his best basketball most of the time.
Like, yeah, listen,
last 7 games against the Heat, RJ averaging almost 25 a game.
Listen, let's be honest. Let's be honest about that Bucks Heat series too. Like the Heat definitely didn't get lucky, but it's not like they're still the Heat. Like Heat with no hero too, by the way. Yes.
But can we have an honest conversation about Giannis right now, though? Like,
it's the combo I've been saying for you.
Yo, he's great. He's great. But you lost to we always talking about people losing. Granted, he got the championship. Now, we could talk about how that was the season with no fans or whatever, but he got his ring, right? got the MVPs, multiple MVPs. He got what, 2 defensive player of the years too, if I'm not mistaken, right? But
Yeah, he has 2 MVPs.
you got smoked by the Heat, what, 3 years ago? Right? The year before they won the finals, got violated by the Heat in the playoffs. Next year, win the finals. Year after that, get violated by the Celtics. You was up 3-1 against the Celtics last year.
No, he wasn't, was it?
If I'm not, wasn't it 3-1?
Were the
The
Celtics
Celtics
down
came back,
3-1
or
to a
was
Middleton-less Bucks team?
it 3-2?
Might have been 3-2.
I gotta double check that. But they was up against the Celtics, and the Celtics came back and beat them.
Now, listen, I believe you. I'm just surprised it was 3-1 because there was no Middleton that series.
No, it wasn't 3-1. They was up 3-2, and they lost the next two. So you lost to the Celtics last year. You lost to the Heat 2 years ago. You lost to the Heat again. And every time they lose, it's in disgusting fashion. Like this series alone. Look, matter of fact, the year that they lost to the Heat in the bubble, when the Heat went to the finals, if I'm not mistaken, they lost 4-1 in that series.
Yeah, they lost in 5.
The only game they won in that series and the only game they won in this series is the one game that Giannis did not play.
Now, I will give them a pass for the bubble because Giannis has been open that he didn't want to be there and that he didn't feel like it was real.
I'm still
Or
not,
I believe his words were, it's not the same.
I don't care because you were still cooking up when y'all came back to the arenas with no fans, right? Now,
It's a
granted,
little
it's
different.
not the same experience. You still get to go home. I
A little
understand.
different.
Completely the same experience.
Yeah.
But stop making excuses. You're a professional athlete.
Yeah. See, so I'm on your side, and I know where you're going with this. I just want to preface for everyone out there on the bubble when someone says they didn't want to be there. I don't find that to be an excuse. I actually just think they just didn't want to be there,
And that's cool.
I really do believe that.
And that's cool. But like at the end of the day, you're a professional athlete. So, all right, maybe you were not mentally in the right place because it was the bubble, but I'm not gonna excuse you of that. Especially when your team got thrashed and the only game they won, you didn't play. Then you fast forward to this year. The only game y'all win, you didn't play. Last 2 games y'all played, y'all had double-digit leads and blew it. You let Jimmy Butler drop almost 60 points on your head. You're supposed to be a defensive player of the year. You were an MVP finalist for the 3rd time or 4th time in your career with 2 MVPs. You are in the conversation of one of the best players in the league. And then you got the nerve to say there's no such thing as a failure? Was those his exact words? I don't want to change his words. What did he say?
He said so. What he said basically was like essentially like no season is a failure. It's a stepping stone to success, essentially. Which
Yeah,
I mean, which respectfully I disagree with as a whole. But like, let's be honest here. Like, you lost in 5 to the 8th seed. I don't see how anyone could defend that.
And then we could also talk about the year he went to the finals. Let's not forget the year he went to the finals and won. He was KD's toe being this far back from not even getting it.
Yeah.
And it's time to talk about if this guy's a winner or not, man. Like, he's got the individual awards, but can we really call him a winner? Like, in my eyes, there's kind of an asterisk on his finals. And I'm not even, like, you won. You got it. You got it. You got your ring. You got your individual awards. But can we really call this man a winner?
I mean, what he did is definitely not the same Has other rings. Like I don't think there's really any like denying that. But what I will say about him is the comment he made yesterday feels out of character, and he
No, it
just
don't.
lost. You know what I mean? And I do think we need to have like a discussion on him, the Bucks as a whole, Drew Holiday specifically, Middleton as well, like um, etc. Like that's an extremely flawed roster in my opinion, which is crazy because if the Warriors had one of those fucking wings, like we're the best team, like by far the best team in the league. We might still be that, but like we're one of those wings away from it not even being close. And I do think they're crazy deep. And I love Brook Lopez next to Giannis, but um, they play one way. And Giannis led teams have always only played one way, which has led to trouble.
Is
Which
that Giannis' fault or coaching fault?
I mean, I think a lot of people blame coaching. I personally blame Giannis just because um, stylistically it's tough
Are
to
you
play next
talking
to him.
about on both sides of the ball or just offensively?
Well, I'm talking specifically offensively. Defensively, I understand they shouldn't have played drop, but like that's what Giannis does. That's what Brook does. So like, what I don't know. I don't know if there's really a solution like other than fixing the roster.
And it makes no sense that Giannis is always playing drop when the man is so fucking tall and athletic. And that wingspan is crazy. Like, yo, bro, if you step out on the perimeter, crouch down and put your arms out, press the left trigger, put that lockdown Dion. Bro, you pause. You're taking up half the you're taking up half the fucking 3-point line. But
Well, he's not a good. He never has been a good individual defender. I've been
and
calling
that's
that
why
out for years.
I've been saying that for mad long though. Like he's a
Yeah,
good defender, but he's not who people say he is. He's not a defensive player of the year. Like you can talk about the advanced stats and how much better the team is defensively when he's on the court than off the court. And you can talk about his steals and his blocks. He's a good defender, especially when he plays help defense. But he's not he's not that cornerback that's gonna play
no.
man defense and follow you everywhere on the field. He's that safety that's gonna come in over the top and take your head off.
Well, and let's call it what it is. The Defensive Player of the Year award has become that. Because if we're gonna give the Defensive Player of the Year to the best defender every single season, it's Draymond Green would never lose that award. Let's call a spade a spade. Like let's the only way he would lose the award is if he didn't play enough games, I guess, if you want to make that argument. But like if
Nah,
there's
'cause
anything
there's been a couple years where like the last few years he has not played at a defensive player of the year level for the full season.
no, if again, if it,
Even
I
when I'm
agree.
not even talking
If that's the argument, I get it. But if the argument is so and so was a better defender, that's just not true. And if there's anything the first round has taught us, it's that this dude is head and shoulders the best defensive player in the world.
do you think
Maybe
that
if we're being honest, like if we're being completely honest, like there is an argument like this guy's the best defensive player we've ever seen. He can guard 1 through 5. He can play drop. He can switch. Whatever you want to do, he does at a much higher level than like 9 out of 10 guys, maybe anybody.
maybe the
And
most
I just
versatile
think
defender we've
the
ever
defensive player of the year award goes to the guy that rim protects, which is fair. Jaren Jackson Jr. was that this year.
Yeah,
Brook,
I did not agree with that award. But I understood why he got it, but I didn't agree with it.
I don't I don't think there would have been anyone that got it where I did agree with it. Like the other options were Brook and Mobley, and it's like same thing for both of them.
Yeah. That's why like when people bring up, oh, he was a defensive player of the year finalist.
Yeah,
First of
it,
all, he didn't win. Like you don't get trophies for being nominated.
yeah. There hasn't been anyone. I'm telling you, like, I don't know who's won it in between Draymond's last one, but like, I would assume it's been a long time since someone's won that award and actually has been the best defensive player in the league.
I think Marcus Smart earned that last year.
Nah, food.
I think he did.
Nah, he was food in the finals.
But we're talking about the regular season. It's a regular season award.
Fair. I'm just saying. I'm
Regular
saying
season
he
award.
wasn't the best defensive player in the league.
Let's
That's
not.
all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's not focus too much on the defensive player of the year stuff. Let's get back to the playoffs real quick.
No, I was just saying like that is their problem. Like if you swap, and again, I mean this is a stupid hypothetical because you could do this with every team, and in my opinion, just about every team gets better. But if you swap Brook Lopez with Draymond Green, every defensive issue they have is solved, and the offense stays the exact same.
Do you think so though? Like,
oh yeah, first off, Jimmy would have been in hell. Like let's just be honest, Jimmy would have been in hell.
Are you talking about against the Hawks, or are you talking about in general? Because
the Bucks, I'm talking in general because
you don't got a shot blocker now though.
No, Giannis is that.
Okay.
Because Draymond is so good. If you remember correctly,
such a bad shot, Giannis gonna come out of nowhere and just.
Well, if you remember correctly, Kevin Durant was like top 3 to 5 in the league in blocks when he played for the Warriors.
Yeah.
And that's Draymond. Like respectfully to Kevin Durant, that's Draymond, that's Clay, that's these other guys. So I think when you add the guy that's smarter than everybody else on defense, and it's just he's just an OD defender, bro. Team, individual, like whatever, like he's just OD. And I think.
How do you feel about these Celtics struggling against the Hawks, though? I know you love to hate the Celtics, and
I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again.
Like highest traded game.
I said it once, I'll say it again. You don't play the Warriors and just bounce back. Like that shit leaves lasting impact. And I've never seen anyone do it besides LeBron.
I've seen you try to explain that on Only Haters when our boy JK said that the Celtics, they ready for this, they learned from that, and they not losing again to y'all. And
well, they got to get there.
He made it sound real good.
Yeah.
But watching them struggle against the 7 seed that probably shouldn't even be here.
Shouldn't even be there. Well, like the Celtics.
Hey, I've been up 3-1.
Well, like this series as a whole is why like I do not value just this series, but this series is a reason why I do not value the regular season. I think Jacob said the Celtics were like first or second in defense this year, maybe. I know he said they were top 5 because he tried to explain like you have to be top 5 in defense to win a championship, and I know the Celtics fit that bill. I don't know where they landed, but regardless, I don't know how the hell you could watch this team and be like, yo, this is top 5 defense. Like yo, this team couldn't guard us.
I doubt that. I don't think they were top 2. Let me see. I don't think they were top 2, but I could be wrong. I know the Cavs were 2.
Cavs were 2, Bucks were like 1 or 2. So maybe they were 3. I don't know. My point is like this isn't an elite defense.
Shit, they were top 2. They were top 2 in offense and defense.
Yeah, again, the offense makes sense. Like I'm watching this series and I'm like, yeah, they can score for sure. They can score. But like, this team don't play no defense. They don't play a lick of defense. Respectfully, the Hawks should not be chunking up 120 as easily as they do on you if you're gonna win a title.
Yo, can we talk about that Knicks defense though? Like, I've been trying to figure this shit out, and I just gotta give credit to Thibs, bro, because when you look at the roster, there's not a single person on this squad that you can call a lockdown defender or an all NBA defender. Quentin Grimes is probably the only one that has the potential to be that. Yet, top 5 in defense this year. No, top 7 in defense this year. Not even. Crazy. They were top 4 on offense. Nah, this shit is wicked. I don't believe nothing the NBA be saying no more. There's no way the Knicks were top 4 in defense. I mean, offense.
Well, yeah, I don't know about the offense, but what I think helps the Knicks defense is the pace they play at. Brunson can cook you in ISOs. Randall can cook you in ISOs. Like Barrett can get his own shot. And when you have 2-3 guys at all times that can get their own look, like you can play at a very slow pace. And like, I'm not saying they play bad defense, but it sure as hell it sure helps like when the other team, even if even if you're not making the basket, is taking the ball out from underneath. You know what I mean? There's not a ton of long rebounds with the Knicks. It's a lot of like getting stuff around the basket. They don't really give you a chance to push the pace, which I think is it really helps your defense. Like when I
As
watch,
long as they protect the ball, it's hard to beat them.
yeah, they don't turn it over. They play so slow. You're taking the ball out from underneath the basket. Like when I watch the Warriors, and I guess we didn't have a good defense this year. I don't know. You know me, I don't know the stats like that.
I mean,
But
statistically, they didn't have a great defense, but we also got to factor like that's just numbers. That's not
yeah,
factoring everything that went on with the team, Wiggins not being there and shit.
right. But when I watch them play, like visually, they have a very poor transition defense. I think when they make a bucket and they can go back down and set up like their half court defense, like they're very tough to score on. And when they take care of the ball, they're very tough to score on. So it's like I think there's two different ways of looking at it, and the Knicks have a phenomenal defense because of how good they are offensively.
And they all like literally work together though. Like everybody trusts each other. They trust the coaching staff's game plan. And obviously they're not perfect. They be blowing coverages. They have lost games. But the fact that they can play such cohesive and effective defense and not have a single lockdown defender is crazy. Like it
I think I think Brunson's a really good defender.
no, but that's
Maybe
the
not
thing. They
lockdown.
have really good defenders. They have
Yeah.
really good defenders. I think Quickly's pretty good on most nights.
Yeah.
Grimes is a good defender. Mitchell Robinson, you already know how I feel about him. Like Josh Hart's a good defender. We have good defenders, but we don't have nobody that you'd be like, I
He gonna take the other person
yeah,
out.
he's gonna take
Yeah.
the other person out the game. Like we don't have that. But as a unit, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
when
I
was the
mean,
last
they're
time?
very vocal.
And
They're very vocal on defense too, which is something like I noticed when I watched y'all play this series. And that obviously helps.
when you mentioned the pace, right? I know
Yeah.
we spent a mad time on the Knicks, but
No, it's fine.
when you mentioned the pace, when was the last time you seen such a bipolar team? Because I'm pretty sure you don't watch that much of the Knicks during the regular season, but I'm pretty sure you caught at least 3 of the fucking 5 games.
I watched all the playoff games.
So
And I
what was the
watched, I
team that
mean,
you seen? When
I'm
was
a
the last
gambler. I
time you
watched more
seen such
Knicks
a
than
bipolar team where it's like they look like two different teams when the starting unit is on the court as opposed to when the bench is on the court. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. It's just like because you mentioned this pace. Specifically when you think about when you look at the pace, the starting unit plays mad slow. Everything is half court, half court, half court. Even if even if they get a long rebound, they not really pushing the pace. They'll run down court and then wait for and then stop and wait for everybody else to get there and set up. But when the bench is on the court, it seems like every bucket is in transition. They playing much faster on offense and defense. They blitzing you. They getting out there in transition. When was the last time you seen such a team like that? That's just
well,
like
they
the opposite.
play they play two skill sets, and that's what I meant by the pace. Like when you have Brunson Randall Barrett out there, and everybody can get their own look, why would you play that fast? You know what I mean?
No, I'm
You're
not saying
bailing
like
the
I
other
said, I'm
team
not
out.
saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying when was the
No,
last
no, no.
seen a
No, no. I'm just explaining
opposite?
why I think they're bipolar. Uh, and then you throw quickly out there, and it's like, nah, let's go. You know what I mean? Like that. That's where he
And then you
thrives.
got Obi out there who's going to run. He's
Yeah.
running, gunning, and dunking.
So I mean, what Thibodeau teams do well is they play the skill set. So I just think it's adapting, which he's done a good job of doing, putting them in the best position to succeed. Which is why you see like a team that doesn't necessarily have like the greatest defense play defense well.
And you got XML. You brought up Dibs. You got XML. I was he had hit me up about the Knicks versus the game one in that at MSG before it started. And I said, low key, I want us to lose this series because then like we start doing good, front office start getting complacent. and don't want to make the necessary tough decisions and moves to get to where we want to be, because they think that they falsely believe that this team right here can contend for a championship consistently. And part of it is Thibs, like, because Thibs has been so fucking stubborn his whole tenure here, not willing to make adjustments in game and just sticking to his original game plan, not holding Randall accountable for fucking damn near 3 years. And then in this series, I see him hold Randall accountable, benches Randall for the fourth quarter. I see him make in-game adjustments. I see him make adjustments game to game. And everything starts clicking. And maybe I'm starting to do what I was accusing the front office of doing. But I'm starting to believe again in Thibs. And believe
I think the Randall stuff, the ankle injury definitely plays a part in Thibs' willingness to do that, to be honest.
but remember I don't think so. And this is why. Randall bummed it the whole series. But game one, Randall closed out the game. Game two, Randall closed out the game. Game three, Randall closed out the game. Game four, Thibs said enough is enough.
When did he get hurt?
Game five.
No.
He got hurt in the last
He
game.
re-aggravated at game 5. Didn't he get
he
hurt?
got hurt in the regular season.
Okay.
He got hurt in the regular season, missed the last few games of the regular season, came back for the playoffs. And then he got hurt in the last game against the Cavs. But in game 4 is when Thibs, he took him out the game on some regular rotation shit. And normally in this situation, regardless of how the second unit is doing, regardless of how Obi's playing, he sticks to his guns, he sticks to his rotation, no matter how bad Randall is, all season and in the playoffs, up until game 4. No matter how bad Randall's playing, he's closing out that game. He's going to stick to his regular rotation when it comes to Randall. He hold other players accountable and bench them. He benched RJ plenty of times. He benched Grimes. He benched Quick. He'll bench anybody but Randall or Brunson during the regular season. Brunson, you can't bench. Ain't no reason to bench him. But game 4 was literally the first time since Thibodeau became the head coach that I visibly saw him hold Randall accountable, other than, regular coach shit, yelling in the player's face, talking to a player like they do everybody. That don't mean he's gonna listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when he don't listen to you, you gotta hold him accountable. When he's chucking up shots, forcing up, doing stupid shit, missing constantly, not contributing in other ways, you gotta hold him accountable. Game 4 was the first time I ever saw that. And I said, yo, I was in shock for the rest of the game. I was sitting there waiting for Randall to come back in the game, and he never came back in the game. And what happened? The Knicks won. Sticking with the East real quick before we head over to the West. Who you think wins this Heat Knicks series?
Honestly, I don't really know. My gut feeling would be the Knicks. I think they're a better team.
I think the Knicks win, but if we don't get Randall back, as much as I dislike him, we need that big body in the paint, and he does have a playmaking aspect that he can bring when he's not forcing shit and not passing out of the double team. Well, and is passing out of the double team. But if we don't have Randall, we just might lose. With or without Hero, we can beat them, but we need that big body.
Well, I just think I think
without Randall.
Eventually, like, the hero thing has to play a part for them in terms of their success. It just has to.
And then it looks like the Celtics are gonna win. They up 126, 119 right now with 1:07 left in the fourth. Who you got in the Sixers versus the Celtics? I got the Sixers, man. I'm gonna be honest.
So I can't. I don't know because I don't know the extent of Embiid's injury. Like I feel like
Oh yeah, I'm
that's the
saying that
thing.
forgetting. I'm saying that forgetting about his knee.
Yeah, honestly, I think healthy. I think it's 6. I'm be honest.
Oh, Harold, they said 4 to 6 weeks. So,
Oh yeah, so I got Knicks for sure.
oh, it's a broken right. That's his shooting hand. Even
He
if
has
he,
a shooting.
yeah, it's slow for them. It's slow for them. Yeah.
No, I definitely got
I
Knicks in
think we
that
could win
series.
without Randall now. I think he ain't coming back at all. We could win. We could still win without Randall. It might go 7, but we could win this.
I think you guys can beat the Knicks for sure.
You mean the Heat? I ain't a Heat fan.
I mean, my fault. I think you guys can beat the Heat for sure. I like personally. I really, really, really like Philly this year, but the Embiid thing scares me. But I really, 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 really like Philly this year.
Yo, he might not even play this series. Celtics got it.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, even if he plays, I think he's at 50, 60%. Like, I kind of think Celtics just dog walk him. But like, but my like, respectfully to the Hawks, I mean, the Sixers got more talent than them, even without Embiid. Like you're telling me you can't guard DeAndre Hunter, Trae Young, Bogdanovich, and Murray. Like Maxey, Harden, Tobias Harris got a whole nother thing coming for you.
Yo, damn, yo, he got the worst luck, man.
Embiid,
Yeah, he really got the worst luck, man. Yo, cause he's finally getting his MVP that I feel like he should have got a few years ago. But this man is somebody that done been snubbed for Defensive Player of the Year, been snubbed for MVP, was stuck playing with Ben Simmons for a few years. Like he be having the worst luck, bro. Enough
yeah,
injury, bro, and then in the playoffs with the way he's played during the playoffs, the way he really dominated against the Celtics during the regular season. Like he averaged almost 37 against them during the regular season, bro.
and the Bucks being out. You know what I mean? Like,
Like that's everybody's biggest threat was the Bucks. And like even without the Celtics struggling, even if the Celtics didn't struggle against the Hawks, everybody knew the biggest threat in the East was the Bucks.
yeah,
They just got taken out in the first round. This is anybody's game right now. Like this,
yeah,
anybody can come out of the West out of the East of the remaining teams. It can easily go any way with the 4 remaining teams. And now this man has a sprained knee. Harold got a broken hand. Randall got a sprained ankle. Celtics looking like bums. Like, this is anybody's ball game, bro. It's just crazy.